Hey.
Hey, hi everyone. Good evening. Good evening, guys. Good evening to all. Hello, guys. Am I audible and visible clearly to you all? Just let me know in the chat, please. Hi, Thabia. Okay. And hi, Satish. Hello, guys. Am I audible and visible to you all? Just let me know, please. Hi, Mukesh. Yes. Okay. Only one response. Okay. Good evening, Shabazz. Okay, I can see people are responding, so I'm audible to you all. First of all, thank you for responding, and I welcome you all to the day one of SQL Bootcamp. We are starting with the SQL Bootcamp, which is for 3 days, and it will be a one hour 30 minute session for each day. And also myself, Anam Khan, I'm one of the team member of Let's Upgrade, and I'm here just to tell you about the attendance part and certificate thing, how to get the certificate and everything. I can see people are spamming for the certificate part. Is it free? When we'll get it and everything. So let me make a clear instruction that certificate will be available on day 3 of this boot camp. And for that, you need to mark your attendance daily. It is a 3 day boot camp. So on all the 3 days you need to mark your attendance, and if you have any queries, any doubts, you can ask us in the chat for the questions related to the bootcamp SQL part. So we'll respond you and solve the queries. Good evening. Good evening, guys. Thank you. Guys, are you all excited? I can see very less people are joining, have joined for the boot camp. Please call your friends, your family members who are eager to learn and interested in learning SQL, which is necessary to manage and to like store the database and everything. So yeah, we'll move forward, and I will share my screen quickly to explain you all about the attendance part. Till then we can chat and let me know from where you people are joining, from which field you are. So I will also let you know all about myself. Is it 3 days or 5 days? It is a 3 days boot camp. It is a 3 days boot camp. Please do not spam again and again for one question. We see each and every question, will answer it, but do not spam. Let others also ask their doubts, and so that we do not miss their questions. Start. Okay, we'll start with the session, do not worry. So yeah, I hope my screen is also visible to you all. So here in the description box, here you can see for registration, attendance, certificate, assignment, everything. We have one link, we call it as a one link, so that you can get everything from one place. And first of all, so you have to enroll for this bootcamp if you haven't. And after enrolling, you can see here the mark attendance toggle beside the day one. Here click on it. Here is a rating scale on a 0 to 10. You can rate it according to yourself how much you like the session. For now I will give 10 on 10. And here is a feedback column, like if you have any feedback for us, you can please feel free to fill it, and we'll surely work on it. And also, after marking the attendance, reload your page one, and your progress bar will increase day by day as you mark your attendance. For now it's showing 33.33 as it is a day one, and on day 2, day 3 it will increase respectively accordingly. And we have this Discord and WhatsApp channel where you can join to get updates, regular updates, daily invites, and many more upcoming events, details and everything, so that you can pre-enroll for the bootcamp and get the notification from our site on the daily basis. And we have this postman challenge going on, which is a just 2 hour course. You need to spend your 2 hours in this course, complete the bootcamp, get the certificate, and get eligible for the swag kits from the postman side and also from the Let's Upgrade side. We are running a challenge where we distribute smartwatch, earbuds, Amazon Echo, gaming keyboard, gaming chair, and also an iPad. So please guys, make sure that you're enrolling and taking part in this challenge. Many have won. You can check our social media account to see the previous batch winners. And this is the student ambassador program. It is a 1 month program, no fees, no charge, nothing. Just enroll for this boot program and attend our workshops. You get swags, you get coupons, you get to meet industry leaders, you get to attend exclusive workshops, and many more things are there. And we also like host Kahoot games and everything to make the workshop program very friendly and not so boring and all. So yeah, the next batch is starting from 1st November, and you can enroll for this if you are interested. And also, if you have any queries, anything you want to know, you can ask us guys in the chat. And we have this all-in-one documentation where we store everything for you people: the doc link, the attendance links, session links, and also the PPT link which sir will use and he has shared for you people to refer it. You can save this link for any time to use. And yeah, also there is a notes page where we will you can get to know that what are we going to learn and at what topic we are at. So yeah, this is the all-in-one doc where you can find everything. If sir shares any of the notes or if PDF anything, we will upload it to this doc itself. So do not spam for any link. Just click on this doc, come to this page, and get the links from this one page itself. And anything guys from this was all from my side. And if you have any queries, you can please feel free to ask us in the chat. Referral task to join the program. Referral task also, we are running the referral task, but that is not just for this program. You can refer any program and get the chance to win that AirPods and smartwatch and again Amazon coupons. So you can check out our page website to get that instructions, sorry, information about it. Okay, so without wasting so much time, I will introduce the trainer for today's session. The trainer is Avan sir. Hope you all will love him, like love his teaching style, and you will enjoy the session. And anything else, then just ping him in the chat. So, hi sir, good evening.
Hi, and good evening. How are you all?
I am the good students. Please respond in the chat. How are you all? So we can. Chandu, please do not spam for one thing. Thank you, but do not spam for one thing. And yes, sir, I will hand over the session to you and I will
Yep.
take a link. So the session is all yours. Thank you. Bye bye,
Sure.
guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey guys, good evening. Thank you so much for joining. I see a lot of excitement, enthusiasm in the chat. Love it. Uh, so I think what we'll do is we'll quickly go over some items for today. We are going to do SQL, of course. I'll introduce myself. My experience in the industry, like just 2 to 5 minutes introduction, and then we'll start SQL from scratch. I think someone asked on the chat if it's going to be from scratch. Yes, it is going to be from scratch. Even if you don't know anything about SQL, it's fine. I'll start from the basics. Uh, cool. So without wasting any more time, let's start. Also, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'll periodically monitor the chat. Of course, I can't do it continuously because then it'll break the flow, right? What I'll do is we'll cover one topic. I'll keep an eye out on chat for your questions, and we'll try to answer all your questions as and when I can do that, right? Please be open, interactive, right? Put your questions. There are no stupid questions here. We are all here to learn, right? So ask anything. I'll try my best to answer. Cool. So let me start. Let me present my screen. Okay. Cool. I hope my screen is visible. Should load any moment now. No, I'm not going to be harsh. Yes, I'm just going to talk about the topics I'm going to cover today, so you know what is coming. The plan for today, right? Uh, so the agenda is I will introduce myself, what my journey has been through a career in analytics. Why should you use SQL? What is SQL? Why is it important? What careers can you build out of SQL? All of that. Then I'll go over some slides that go over the installation of MySQL. So we'll be using MySQL for the purpose of this session, and we'll then jump into SQL queries again. Right from the scratch, very easy to follow for anyone who doesn't know SQL at all. I intend this session to be very hands-on, right? So I don't want it to be like me blabbering for like 1.5 hours and like you guys losing interest, right? So I want it to be very hands-on, very interactive. I'll ask questions in between. You can put it on your chat. Okay, my screen. Something is wrong with my screen. Okay, one sec. Let me stop sharing once. It's like, I'm just trying to get this right. Give me 1 second. I hope it works now. Let's check. Should be loading any moment. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Now I hope it's fine. So yeah, this is the agenda for today. I'll just repeat a bit. Introduction. Why SQL? What is the point of SQL? What careers can you build out of SQL? Then we'll go over installation of MySQL and then some SQL queries. So we'll start with basic queries in the end, right? So that's sort of the agenda. I'll quickly go over my background, right? So I have 10 years of experience in analytics. I've worked across the US as well as India. I did my B in mechanical engineering. I graduated in 2012. I then went for my master's to the US. I did my master's for a couple of years, and then I worked in the US for about 8 years. I've done consulting. I've managed teams of analysts, in e-commerce across pharmaceutical, telecom, many different industries. In 2021, I moved back to India, and I worked at a company called Browser Stack. Here, it's a startup in Mumbai. I led the product analytics function, and then somewhere around last year, I left my job, and I'm kind of into teaching, mentorship, and I help people break into careers of data. Right. So that's sort of my background. Uh, Okay. I think any of the admin issues that you have on chat, the Let's Upgrade team will get in touch. Anything that's related to SQL or careers, I can help out. Like problems with attendance or OTP, I think the team will handle for you. Cool. All right. So why SQL, right? I'll come to like what is SQL. SQL is basically a language that is used for data manipulation, extracting data and coming up with insights from that data, right? So SQL is the industry standard for data manipulation and insight generation. Any career you choose, be it data analysis, data engineering, data scientist, whatever career you choose, SQL is going to be a must-have for all of these careers, right? Any company you take, Amazon, Google, Facebook, any big company, or even Indian companies, right? Zomato, Myntra, any companies you take, all of these companies use SQL in some form or the other. Some examples of what problems you can solve using SQL and analytics, right? In tech companies, which features are customers using the most, right? Let's say for example, Facebook. On Facebook, which features are you using? On Instagram, which features are you watching? Reels? Are you watching? Are you scrolling through posts? Are you looking at stories? Right. All of this analysis, if you want to do, you can use SQL. How to make more customers use our products? Right. What is more popular, Reels or posts? Right. E-commerce, Amazon, any company you take. Right. There are so many business problems to be solved. Where to store your items so that the delivery times are faster, right? Which customers to send discount coupons to? What are our biggest pain points, right, for our customers? So any analysis that you do, large data sets, wherever large data sets are used, SQL is used. Even in finance, banks, manufacturing, any industry you pick, SQL is a must-have, right? So that's sort of demonstrating the power of SQL, right? And if you think about an analytics project has roughly three components, right? Three components. First is data engineering or data storage or making your data available for analysis, right? So that is the data engineering part. Second part is your analysis or modeling. Any analysis that you do, for example, data analysts or business analysts or even data scientists, all of these guys do some sort of analysis to come up with some insights, right? What is the point of doing analysis? You want some insights so uh, you can inform decisions of business, right? So that part as well as visualizations. Last part is visualization. So there are three parts: data engineering, insights, modeling, and visualization, right? So if you want to do data engineering or if you want to do data analytics or business analytics, SQL is a must have. Like if you Google any interview, right? Analytics interview, data science interviews, SQL is one of the most important parts of any data analytics interviews, right? So that's sort of in a nutshell what the power of SQL is, right? Uh, cool. So let me ask you this: what does SQL stand for? Does anyone know? SQL stands for. Anyone know what does SQL stand for? SQL, SQL. What does it stand for? Anyone? Yeah, structured query language. Correct. Structured query language. SQL stands for structured query language. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Many of you got the right answer. Okay. What is the meaning of the word structured? Why is it called structured query language? What is the meaning of the word structured? It must mean something, right? Yeah. Yeah, structured query language. I think everyone got the answer. Rows and columns. Yeah, someone answered rows and columns, right? Structured. The word or the meaning of the word structured, it means tabular format or table format or rows and columns. Okay, what are rows and columns? What are rows and columns? Table format. Yeah, organized in a structure or schema. Yeah, correct, correct. All of you are right. Some sort of a format where the data is organized in a table, right? If you think about a normal Excel, right? Like, let's say some data here, right? You have like student ID, you have student name, let's say, right? And let's say you have ID number one, ID number two, and you have, I don't know, Ashish or Priyanka, something like that, some random names, right? Uh, how many columns does this table have? If this is a table, how many columns does this table have? How many columns? Yeah, two columns, correct? Student ID, student name, two columns, as well as two rows. Rows are horizontal, right? Rows are horizontal. So these are rows. All of these are rows. Columns are vertical. These are vertical columns, right? So these are what I've highlighted here. Vertical, standing line are columns. Sleeping lines or horizontal things are rows, right? So structured data is basically anything that is stored in a format of rows and columns, right? So that's structured. So that is why it's called structured query language, because all of the data that we store in databases and anything in the backend in SQL, right? All of that is in structured format, in tabular format, in rows and columns, right? Then what do you mean by unstructured data then? If structured data is rows and columns, then what is unstructured data? Raw data, okay, files, JSON, okay, non-tabular format, okay, yeah, perfect. So yeah, not in form of table, correct. All of you are correct. Not in form of table. Music, text files, video, perfect. So all of these are unstructured. So if I have to give you examples of unstructured data, images, right, audio files, videos, all of these are unstructured data. Unstructured data is very hard to analyze, right? You cannot really put image, audio, or video in a tabular format. It is very hard to analyze. So and most of the analysis that happens in the industry happens actually on structured data. Of course, with AI coming in, this is changing fast, right? With like unstructured data also is being analyzed pretty extensively, but mostly currently in the industry still structured data is still the norm, right? So just to know that unstructured data is images, audio, video, and you can't really analyze them very easily. Yeah, you can't really arrange them in rows and columns. Correct. Right, so that's the point of this. So just summarizing, SQL stands for structured query language. It's called structured because it is in tabular format. The data is in tabular format, right? Rows and columns. Cool. Any doubts, guys? SQL, structured query language, structured data, unstructured data. I think most of you got the answers. I think probably you already know all of this, right? Okay, cool. So let's go further. Let's take an example, right? Let's take an example. Let's say you are an e-commerce company. Let's say you are an e-commerce company like Amazon. Okay. Uh, can you think of what data Amazon will store in their backend? What data will Amazon store in their backend, or what data does an e-commerce company want to store in the backend? What kind of data? Flipkart or Amazon? Yeah, customer ID. Okay, so customers data. Okay, what else? Orders. Okay, order data. Okay, what else? Product details. Okay, product details, customer behavior profile. Okay, user data. Yeah, users, customers, same thing. What else? Address, card data. So activity data, right? What are they doing on the website, right? Region, price list. Yeah, products mein region aa gaya, right? Cancellations, right? Cancellation, age, payment, addresses, coupons. Yeah, all good points. All good points. Okay, reviews. Yeah, reviews, product reviews, right? So this will come under reviews here. Customer information will have something like address, maybe name, email, age, something like that. Product data. Okay. Date and time, refund list. Okay, so maybe status of the order, or so what you guys said, right? Cancellations, refunds, etc., right? Suspicious activity. Okay, fraud. Okay, okay, all good points. Yeah, shipping details, right? Shipping details, all of that. Cool. Just to add to this, I would say things like customer service as well, right? Customer service, like calls, any calls that you make to customer service. Yeah, order tracking. So for example, tracking will come here. Wish list. Okay, search history. Okay, I think we have enough points. Okay, so we have calls here in customer service. We have products, we have activities, we also have finance data, right? How much money did we make, right? So revenue, for example, margins, right? All of this inventory details. Yeah, I think everything you guys mentioned, we'll want to store, right? Yeah, sales, profits, etc. Cool. So my point is, do you want to store all of this data in one table, or do you want to store this in different tables? What do you think is better? One table or different tables? What is better according to you? All of this data. Okay, one table. Okay, someone said one table. Anyone else? Different table. Okay, different table. Okay, so I think both opinions, right? One table, different tables. There are pros and cons to both the approaches, right? Pros and cons to both the approaches. If you store everything in one table, right? If you store everything in one table, it's really hard to manage. Very hard to manage. It's one big table with millions of rows of data, right? And each are at different level. This is at customer level, this is at order level, something else is at call level, something is at dollar amount level, right? So getting all of this together in one place and then analyzing it is very hard. Secondly, if you try to analyze such large data, you will keep waiting for the queries and the code to run, right? It's so humongous data. Think about it. Amazon probably has like more than 1 or 2 billion users. I don't know, like at least Meta has 2 billion users, right? Any details of all users, all activity for such large amount of customers is going to be very difficult to manage, right? So it is always better to store your data in different tables, right? For example, take your cupboard, right? Take your cupboard or your wardrobe. Of course, you have clothes separately, you have your perfume separately, or whatever, right? You store them in different places, not everything like dumped into one place, right? So it is always easier to manage if you have it organized really well. If you want to find something quickly, you know that this blue jeans of mine is in this drawer or some compartment, right? So it's easier to manage. Same way, if you apply the same concept to your data, it's the same thing, right? You have different tables, and then there are relationships between the tables. Yeah, someone is saying foreign key and different terminology. I don't want to get into all the terminology right now, but just know that easier to manage if the data is stored differently, right? So now coming to the concept of what a database is, right? For example, this customer service data, for example, right? This customer service data, or this customer's data, or this orders data, right? Or products data. All of these will have a bunch of different tables within each. So customers will have different tables within customers. Some will store their names, some will store like location, some will store activity or whatever, like different kinds of tables, right? So such a concept where you have a bunch of data that is somewhat related to each other, this customers will be a database. So customers is one database, and then within that database you will have different kinds of tables, right? Each database has a bunch of different tables, right? Orders will have some tables, products will have some tables, customer service will have some tables, right? Finance will have some tables. So that's the concept of your database. Okay, database is a collection of useful data or structured data and a collection of tables. That is what a database is. It's a very important concept to learn before learning SQL. Okay, now let me give you one more example. Okay, I want to start from scratch because not everyone is familiar with all of these concepts. So just be a bit patient, right? Okay. So let's say I have a table, students table. Let's say I have roll number, I have student name, I have, let's say, age, and let's say I have a course. Okay. And let's say ABC, some random stuff here. 23, 21. I don't know. Let's say MySQL, 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 and Python. Let's say. Okay. Let's say we have another table called department. We have department ID and department name. Let's say 1 and 2. Let's say this is data analytics. Let's say this is data science, right? Okay. Let's say there are two tables. Can anyone tell me if there is any relationship between these two tables right now? Right now. Any relationship, anything common in between? Any relationship between these two tables? No. Yeah. Currently, there is no relationship. Yeah, perfect. No. There is no relationship. Can you identify any common column between the two? There isn't any common column between the two. So you can't really relate these two tables. Will it help? Will it help to create a relationship between the two tables? Yes, correct. Yes, it will help. It will help to create a relationship between the two tables, right? So let's say I'm going to put department ID here, and let's say MySQL comes in data analytics and Python comes in data science. Now, is there any relationship between the two tables? Yes, there is some relationship between the two tables now, after we created one more additional column, right? One more additional column we have here, and now there is some relationship between these two tables. Now, this concept where this one table, students, is connected to department via department ID, right? This is your common column. This is your common column, department ID, right? Such a construct or such a concept of database is called a relational database, right? Relational database is where all your tables are related to each other, so that all the information that you store in different tables can be combined together, and then we can do whatever analysis we need. Yeah, primary key, foreign key, we'll come to that later on. But for now, I don't want to introduce like confusing terminology so people don't get confused, right? Cool. So that is the construct of relational database management system. Okay. Now, uh, where do you store your data right now? RDBMS. Yeah, this is relational database management system. Where do you store your data right now? How do you store your data currently? Anyone? server, okay, database, okay. On your computer, mobile, okay. Local machine, okay. Yeah, some kind of internal storage, local storage, or cloud storage, right? Maybe it's on Google Drive, or maybe it's on your local machine on your hard disk. Yeah, correct, hard disk or laptop, right? How do you actually interact with that data? Let's say your files are stored on your hard disk. How do you interact with that data? What's that interface between you and your hard disk? Computer understands 0 1 language, like machine language. You don't know machine language, but there is something that translates your instructions. Yeah, by opening the folder. Yeah, correct. Like File Explorer, something like that, right? If you open the folder, you can access all the files within OS. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting to. OS, operating system, right? Operating system is the interface between you and your hard disk, right? Operating system translates your instructions into some sort of computer language that a computer understands, and you are communicating in English, right? Open this file, delete this file, rename this file, whatever. Similar concept applies to DBMS. Your data is stored in databases in the backend, whereas you are the user. To interact with your database, you have something called database management system, DBMS, right? Database management system, DBMS. So MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, all of these are examples of DBMS, right? They enable you to interact with your databases. They enable you to pull data. If you want to clean it up, query the data, get some insights out of the data, right? So that is what the concept of DBMS is, or database management system. And whenever the tables are linked to each other, it's called relational database management system. Clear, guys? Any questions so far? Before we jump into like more queries and installation and all of that, I just wanted to introduce this concept for anyone who doesn't know before I jump into some more complex stuff. Any questions, guys? No. Okay, perfect. Cool. So let's jump into the installation now. Okay. So MySQL installation, I don't know which platform you guys are using. So I have a Mac here. Most of you might have Windows. Some of you might also have Mac. Okay, what is the difference between MySQL and MongoDB? Okay, so MySQL is for structured data, right? This is for structured data. That's the big difference. Upload on YouTube. Yeah, okay. All of this, I think the admin team will take care of. What is the difference between MySQL and SQL? That's a very good question. Okay, difference between MySQL and SQL. MySQL is a type of relational database management system, meaning that it is a form of interacting with your data. Okay, so there are multiple such software. MySQL is a software. It is a system that is designed by a company to interact with your data. So MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, a bunch of other database management systems as well, right? Whereas SQL is sort of a language. Like for example, Hindi, right? Hindi is a language. When I say something in Hindi and when you say something in Hindi, it means the same thing, right? It's like a common thing that everyone understands. So it's like a language. So SQL is a language, and then these tools like MySQL, SQL Server, all of them use the SQL language for interaction. So that's the difference. SQL is like a universal language, whereas MySQL, SQL Server are software that use the SQL language to interact with your databases. So that's the difference between the two. Cool. Which DBMS is more efficient? I think I would say don't go for efficiency. I think go for what is more popular. I feel like the three that I have used the most is MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, and Postgres. Right, Postgres. I think for large data, people use Postgres, but yeah, MySQL is open source. It's free of cost. You can download it. Oracle actually owns MySQL, right? So there's no difference between Oracle SQL or MySQL. MySQL is owned by Oracle. Similarly, Microsoft SQL Server is owned by Microsoft. So it's all interpretations of the same thing, right? So You choose anyone. I mean, if you know one version of SQL, it is very easy to pick up the other one. In fact, if you know one version, you will know 90% of the other version. There's only few differences in some syntax. There's not much difference. So I would say MySQL is the most popular one by far, and that's why I think the bootcamp is also about MySQL, right? So you're learning the most popular one, so you can apply this to everything else as well, right? Okay. Okay, cool. So, coming to installation, right? So, if you're using Windows, the installation is a bit different from Mac, right? Windows is a bit easier. Mac is slightly harder, right? So for Windows, and this PowerPoint is shared with you in the links that is shared by the admin team, right? For Windows, what you need to do is you just need to click on this. You just need to click on this link, and then you will be redirected to this page. So I have Mac, so I'm not able to show you the exact installation process for Windows, right? So when you click on this, you will be redirected to this page where you will have a version of Microsoft of MySQL, so 8.0.4. You can download the latest version. You can click on this download, right? You can click on download, and then next step, you will just say no thanks, just start my download. So it'll download one file. It's a very easy installation process. You just have to click on next multiple times and it'll get done, right? Uh, Site is not reached. Okay, let me try. Sorry, one sec. Let me just select this. Go to Chrome. Yeah, it's working, right? The link is working. So this is sort of where you will land. You just need to click on this download button here, the first download button here on the right. When you say download here, you just need to say no thanks, just start my download. No thanks, just start my download, and it'll download some file for you. And then you just need to follow these steps here. The steps are listed here. You will do a full installation, right? I'm not, see, if I do the full installation right now, it'll probably take like half an hour, right? So I want to just show you the steps. You can do it at your own time, because different people will do it at different times and it'll create a lot of confusion, right? So I'll show you the steps now. You can install it whenever you are on the system. Some of you are on mobile, right? Uh, so this is the Windows. Yeah, this is the Windows installation process, right? So you'll do a full installation. Just keep on clicking on next or execute or finish until it gets done. So in this step, you will click on next, again next, again next, again next. So it's like nothing you have to do. Just keep on clicking next. Okay, there's one step where you'll have to set a password. You'll have to set a password, MySQL root password. Just set some password that you can remember. Please, guys, make sure you remember this password. If you forget this password later on, there is no way to recover apart from uninstalling and reinstalling. So please remember this password. Put your password, click on next. Again, click on next. Again, my intention is not for you to follow along the installation. Like, of course, you can't do it this quickly, right? I'm just showing you the steps. So whenever you are able to, you can install it, right? Then click on finish. Again, next, 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 finish. At some point, they'll ask you for your password. Yeah, here you can enter your password. Click on check. It will say connection succeeded. It will say connection succeeded here. And then again, execute and finish. Execute, next, and finish. So this will basically install MySQL for you, right? And then, of course, you can start MySQL. There's also online compilers available, right? Online compilers available where you can directly write SQL query online. But I would prefer you actually download MySQL and start working on it, because that is the industry standard, right? You need to get familiar with the tool and all of that, right? So I would say download MySQL whenever you can, install it, and let me know if you have any issues. We can discuss tomorrow if you had any issues of installation. I've put the links here. If you have links for Mac, or if you have Mac, there are links here as well. For Mac, you need to do MySQL and MySQL Workbench separately, right? You'll have to do it separately. For Windows, there's only one link. You just download it, install it, and you're done. It's much easier. Yeah, if you've forgotten your password, you will have to uninstall MySQL and reinstall it. There's no other option, guys, unfortunately. Okay. Once you install MySQL, it'll look something like this. Something like this. I'll go over the interface right now, like how to actually work with MySQL. All the queries that I do, all the queries that we do in the session today will be made available to you. I'll share the files with the team, and they'll upload it on the file that you guys have access to, right? So don't worry about any of the files here. All the queries will be made available to you. I already discussed the difference between MySQL and SQL, Syed. What is queries? Okay, queries are basically things that you write to get some data out of your database. That is what a query is. I'll come to like how to write. It's like a code, basically a code that you write to get something out of the database. You have 64-bit. 64-bit is fine, right? Windows 11 64-bit, it's fine. You can follow the same link. It's fine. Where in this section, right, you can choose whichever version you are on, right? Like you are, it'll auto detect. First of all, it'll auto detect based on your system, right? It'll auto detect based on your system. If it does not, you can just choose whatever is there. We are using MySQL. MySQL. Difference between MySQL and Postgres. As I said, MySQL and Postgres are just different DBMS software owned by different companies. It's just their interpretation of SQL. It's just owned by different companies. The syntax will be mostly the same. Okay, I think all job and career related stuff I'll cover in the end. I want to cover more of the SQL stuff. I'll cover all the career related questions towards the end. Okay, so let's start. Cool. I'll start right from scratch. I don't have any code written here. We will actually create all the code and query right now here, right? Yeah, codes of MySQL and all other databases are almost the same, 90 to 95% same. Okay. Whenever you open MySQL, you will have roughly three sections. Three sections. Okay, this is your editor. Whenever you install MySQL, once you install it, once you open it, right, you will be redirected to something like this. This is a Mac, so the interface is slightly different, meaning that the color scheme and all of that is a bit different. But on Windows, it'll be like, I mean, Windows and Mac are almost the same in terms of interface. Just the colors and some of the formatting is a bit different. That's it. How to install in Mac? It's there in the PowerPoint. Just go to those two links, click on the link. You just have to follow the instruction step. Mac is actually even easier. There's no like version or nothing of that sort. You just need to click on it, install it. That's it. Okay. Any other questions before we start SQL? Yeah, MariaDB is fine. Linux, I'm not sure. Shaba, sorry, I haven't used Linux. I am more of a Mac and Windows user. I don't know how to do it in Linux. Sorry. Okay, let's get started then. There are three components to your workbench. SQL workbench, right? MySQL workbench. MySQL, yeah, I'll cover all topics, joins, all of that is coming up. Right now, I'm starting with the basics, very basics, right? MySQL workbench is your software that you will use to interact with your databases, right? Uh, MySQL workbench is the software you'll use to interact with your databases, right? Now, the first section that you have on the left, right? There are a bunch of things here, right? Like I have bunch of names here, right? Sakila, Sis, all of that, right? All of these are your databases. Remember databases, right? When we saw the e-commerce example where customers might be one database, order related stuff will be in one more database. So all of these are databases. Now within each database, for example, Sakila, for all of you who will install on Windows, this Sakila thing will get installed automatically. It's a sample data set, right, for you to work on. So if you click on this Sakila, there's a drop down here. If you click on this tables, there are so many different tables here, right? All of these tables belong to the Sakila database. All of these tables, the actor is one table, address is one table, category is one table, city is one table. All of these are different tables, collection of rows and columns. Table is a collection of rows and columns. So all of these belong to one database called Sakila. So the hierarchy or the structure is, you have a database and then within that you have many different tables, right? Now within this table, within this actor table, you will have rows and columns, right? Table is a collection of rows and columns. So within this actor table, let's say you have different columns. You have actor ID, you have first name, you have last name, and you have last update. So for example, this actor table has 4 columns. These are the columns. We'll come to like the tables and how to view the table in a bit. But for now, you will have 4 columns. You have 4 columns in the actor table, right? Within the Sakila database. Cool. Okay. This is the first section. All your databases will be listed here. Now your second section is this editor. Right? This is where you write your code. This is where you write queries or code, whatever you want to call it. This is where you will actually do all the coding and run your code and get and try to get some results out of it, right? So this is your editor. It's called your editor. Now this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are your line numbers. Okay, line number 1, line number 2, line number 3. So you will write code on line 1, line 2, line 3, and of course as you press enter, it will keep generating new line numbers, right? Okay, now your third section here, let me just clear this. Your third section here is your action output. This is called your action output, right? Now what is action output? Action output is just a place where it shows you what are you running, right? What are you running? It will give you messages. It will give you helpful messages of, okay, you ran some query or code. What happened? Did it run successfully? How much time did it take? Right? What is the result of it? So all of that will come in the bottom, right? All of that will come in the bottom of your workbench. So these are the 3 sections. You have databases, you have the editor, and you have the action output, right? Yeah, result of the query, correct. It will show the result of the queries, answer of your query, correct. It will show below. Okay, cool. Now, there are 3 buttons here, right? There are 3 buttons here. Some of them are blue, some of them are black, right? Some of them are blue, some of them are black. When it says blue, when it shows blue, it means that it is displaying this. See, this left section is blue. Now, if I click on this, it will hide the databases. If I click back on it, it will show me the databases again and again, right? So you can customize the way you want it to show, right? Now, if I click on this, it will hide the action output below. If I click back on this, it will show the action output again, right? This right section is mostly like for help. Like if you want help with some syntax, you can type something here. I usually don't use this section a lot. I just use Google for help. So I keep this off. So I keep this hidden. Okay. Okay. Now let's start writing some code. Let's forget about all this written. We'll start from scratch. Let's start writing some code. Okay. I'm going to say, one sec. Just make sure. Yeah. Let's say I am going to say create. Create means make something. Create database. Create database. These are all my databases currently, right? I want to create a new database. Okay, I want to create a new database. I'll say create database. Let's say SQL data, something like this. SQL data. Remember that all the code that you write, right, all the code that you write has to be ended with a semicolon. right, ended with a semicolon, it shows MySQL that this code is complete. This code is complete. This line of code is complete. Okay. This semicolon is compulsory. You have to write it, otherwise it will give you some error. Okay. Cool. Now, I've written this code. Something happened, right? See, this is in black, this is in blue. Anyone know how? Yeah, I'll answer if it's case sensitive or not as well. Let's go step by step, one by one. This is black, this is blue. Why? Anyone know? Something happened, right? Why is this black? Why is this blue? Anyone know? Yeah, inbuilt queries, inbuilt queries. Okay, okay, let me explain. What this blue color means is that this word is something that MySQL recognizes. Yeah, it's predefined. Reserve keywords. Yeah, you can call it, yeah, all correct. Keyword, correct. Keyword. All of these are called keywords. What are keywords? Keywords are words that MySQL understands the meaning of. For example, this create. When I write the word create, MySQL knows the meaning of the word create. It knows what to do. Okay. Similar to that, database also. It knows what to do. It knows what to do when I say create database. But this SQL data, yeah, it's syntax, correct. SQL data is something that the name is something that I have given. The name is something that I have given, right? SQL does not know the meaning of the word SQL data. For all you know, this can also be ABC. You can give it any name, right? So SQL does not know the meaning of that. That is why it is not a keyword and it is in black, right? So keywords are in blue, other stuff is in black. Okay, now how to run code, right? How to run code? What you can do is you can select this, right? Just with your mouse, select this and click on this bolt or flash icon, right? Bolt or flash icon. Just click on this. Okay, now something happened, right? Something happened. There's a green tick mark here. There's a green tick mark here, which means that your code ran successfully, right? Your code ran successfully. There's some time associated with it, 19:21:37. So that's 7:21. That's the current time. So we ran this query at 19:21, which is 7:21. Okay. Action is create database SQL data. So that is something that we created here. So it's just telling us that you ran this query or you ran this code. Okay. And duration is some 0.0041 second. It took a few milliseconds to run this code, but it has been run successfully. Okay. Now on your left is your databases. On your left is your databases, right? Can you see SQL data here anywhere? Are you able to see SQL data here anywhere? We have created new database, right? So it should come up here. Can you see it here anywhere on the left? Doesn't look like it's there. See, it's not there, right? It's not there. We have created it. Technically, it should come here. So for you to reflect any changes that you have made, there's a refresh button here. There's a refresh button here. See, there are two arrows here. There's a refresh button here. So I'm going to click on this refresh button. Now see, it came. It came. Yeah, you have to refresh it. Yeah, we'll come to use. We'll come to use later on. But you have to first refresh it. So once I refresh this, now I can see SQL data on the left. So my database has been created, right? My database has been created successfully. It does not really have any tables right now. See, table has no drop down. Table has no drop down here because we have not created any table. We just created one database and left it. Created one database, nothing else. So there are no tables inside it. Okay. Okay. Case sensitivity. SQL is not case sensitive. Just to answer your question, I think someone already answered on the chat, but SQL is not case sensitive. You can write it this way also. When I say case sensitive, I mean, do capital letters matter or not? Capital letters don't matter. You write it in capital letters, small letter, it doesn't matter. Guys, installation link should be in the PowerPoint that was shared with you. I think some of you have asked again and again. The installation links are in one PowerPoint that has been shared with you on the doc. I think Anam pointed to the doc in the beginning. So please go to that link. Okay, so I was saying create database. You can write it like this also, no problem. All data, SQL data, whatever, like SQL data. It does not matter. You can also write it like this if you want. There's no point in doing this, but you can write it like this. It will not make a difference. Okay, it will not make a difference. Okay, cool. Okay, second point. Second point. Second point is it does not matter how many enter spaces you give in between before you write the next line of code. I can write it in the second line, I can write it in the 10th line, it doesn't matter. It will ignore all the spaces in between. Okay, it'll ignore all the spaces in between. So it doesn't matter how many spaces you give. Okay. The next thing we are going to do, is the command use. Use. Okay, see, while writing this, see, there's a red cross that comes here, right? There's a red cross. There's a red cross here. It means that there is some error in your code. No, indentation is not. It doesn't really matter. Indentation. You just have to complete the code. Uh, this means that either your code has error or your code is not complete. Either of the two. Either the code has some error or the code is not complete. For now, my code is not complete. See, I'm still writing something. I'm still writing something. That's why my code is not complete and it's giving me an X here, red cross, which means there's something wrong with it. So I'm going to say use. Use is another keyword. See how it turned blue. From black, it turned blue, right? As soon as I completed the word use, this red cross became blue dot, which means your code is correct, or at least there's nothing MySQL is finding wrong with your code. Okay. So I'm going to say use SQL data. I'm going to say use SQL data. Use SQL data. Okay. Now notice what happens on the left, guys. Once I run this, notice what happens here. I'm going to select this and run this. Yes, use is also a keyword. Correct. Use is a keyword. Use SQL data. I'm going to run this. See what happens. Something happened here. See. Yeah, I'm coming to that. Why do we use? Something happened. What happened? This became bold. SQL data became bold. Before it was not bold. When I said use SQL data, this became bold. Right? This became bold. Now, what is the point of this use command? We use this command to tell MySQL to select select the database. Yes, Mohammed, you're right. We have to tell MySQL to select the database in which we want to do the work that is coming up, right? So I am telling MySQL that SQL data is the database that is going to store all of the tables that I create afterwards, or whatever I do in this editor will be stored in SQL data. It is to activate SQL data. Correct. It is to activate the database SQL data. You can either do this, use SQL data, or you can also double click on this. Both are correct. Both are correct. So, for example, let's say I want to go back to Sakila. What I'll do is I'll double click on Sakila. See, now Sakila became bold. Correct. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. We can also double click on database name. Now, if I want to go back to SQL data, I will say SQL data. Right. So you can also double click. You can also use the word use. Okay. Now, I'm going to do something now. First of all, I want you to notice the difference between the blue of this and blue of this. Right? This is a lighter shade of blue. What I have done is I have written a comment. I have written a comment here. The way to write a comment is two hyphens, or you can also use hash, something like this. Now, what is a comment? Yeah, you can import CSV files. I'll show you to in subsequent classes. Right now, I think I don't want to complicate it. Let's start simple. You can import external CSV files in SQL as well. Yeah. Why it's bold? It's bold because we have told MySQL that this is our active database. This is our active database. We want to work in this database. Anything that we do from this point onwards has to be stored in SQL data, the database SQL data. That is the point of using this use or double clicking. Okay, cool. Correct. Yeah. So comment is something that we leave as notes for future reference. For future reference, it is not a part of your code, as someone said in the chat. It is not something that will get run in the output. Comments are written for self knowledge. Yeah, self knowledge, or for someone who is using your code later on. For someone, okay, can you repeat why we use? Okay, I'll repeat that. We use the word use to make our database active. To make our database active, meaning whatever we do from this point onwards will get stored in this database. Let's say I create a table. Let's say I create a table now. How will MySQL know in which database to create a table? I have so many databases here. So I have said use SQL data. Use SQL data. Now, if I create a table, it has to be created under SQL data. For readability, yeah, comments. Okay, coming back to comments. Comments are used for readability and for notes for yourself for the future, or notes for someone else who might be using your code. For someone else who might be using your code in the future. Okay. So this is a comment. It's always a good practice to leave comments so that you don't forget what you did. So that you don't forget. It's fine. If you don't mention this, it's fine. It is not compulsory. Comments are not compulsory, but of course database you need to you need to select. But comments are not compulsory. If I don't write this, it is not a problem. It is a good practice to write. Okay, create a table. Okay. Now I'm going to create a table. Okay, I'm going to create a table now. Going to try to create a table. See, I don't want to teach SQL through a PowerPoint, right? You can't really learn SQL from a PowerPoint. You have to actually do it to learn it. That's why I'm directly taking examples to show you. Right? This way, you will also remember it better from examples. If I go through slides, you'll forget all the keywords, right? That's why I'm showing you examples. Okay. I'm going to say create table student. Right? Create table student. Same way, the way we created database, we are creating a table called student. Okay. Now, I am going to give two brackets here. Okay, two brackets. Okay. Okay. Now, I need to define. I need to define what columns will be a part of this table student. For example, let's say we saw this, right? We saw this. Let's say we'll take only these four columns: roll number, S name, age, and course. Roll number, S name, age, and course. Okay. Okay. So let me write those down. Roll number, S name, age, course. Okay. So these are the four columns that I need. These are the four columns that I need in my student table. Okay. That is what I'm telling MySQL. I want to create a table called student with four columns. Okay. Now I need to tell MySQL also what type of data will get stored in roll number. What type of data gets stored in roll number? Is it numbers? Is it characters? Usually roll number is a int. Okay, int. Okay. Number. Yeah, roll number is a number, right? Roll number usually is a number. 45, 50, 60, whatever. Roll number is a number. Okay. So I am going to say roll number is int. Okay, int. Integer. Int stands for integer. Integer meaning something that is just numbers, whole numbers, right? 1, 20, 50. All of these are integers. Okay, all of these are integers. Okay. What about S name or student name? S name or student name, is it integer or not? Name of a student, is it a number? Varchar. Okay, varchar. People know what is varchar. Okay. Char or varchar? Okay, now what is char or varchar? Varchar stands for variable character. Variable character, or you can also use char, right? Char and varchar tells MySQL that some type of numbers or letters are being stored in this column. Some type of letters or numbers are being. It's a string. Why not string? It is a type of string only. Varchar is for string variables only, right? So varchar is for string. Now in varchar, you need to give it some number here, maybe 30, 50, 100, whatever number you want to give, right? It's a rule. It's a syntax rule. Need to give a comma here. Okay. Now what this 30 stands for is my S name is going to have 30 characters in it, or maximum of 30 characters in it. So my student name cannot have more than 30. Yeah, length of the value, correct. Cannot have more than 30 characters in it. Okay, so I'm going to give it a name. What about age? Age is going to be integer again, and course is probably going to be varchar again, right? Yeah, it's a limit. This number is a limit that you can set as high as you want. Like you can also set it to a very high number. Okay, give it a okay. Now, someone asked on the chat, why is there no semicolon here in between, right? Semicolon only comes after your code is complete. One piece of code is complete. This entire thing is one piece of code, even though it's written in different lines. Even though it's written in different lines, it is still one piece of code. That's why I didn't put semicolon in between. Now I'll put a semicolon here. Now I'll put a semicolon. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll come to the difference between char and varchar also. Give me a moment. Let me run this. Okay, so this is run. I'm going to refresh this in tables. Now the new student has come, right? New student has come. There will be no comma here. I didn't forget a comma. There will be no comma here because this is the last column. Okay, I put commas here because there are columns coming up after this, right? Here there is no comma because this is the last column. Course is the last column. Then there is no other column after this, so there is no comma here. That's it. Okay. Now there is something called student that has been already made. Can we take float? Okay, so float is for decimal numbers. If you want to store something like 30.2, 100.5, point something, right? So that is where you use float. Okay, now difference between char and varchar, right? Difference between char and varchar. Let me go to Excel for that. Let's say John or Jack, let's say. Let's say I've defined name as char 30 and here I've defined as varchar 30. Okay, which means 30 is the maximum limit, right? 30 is the maximum limit. Okay, Jack is 4 characters, correct? Jack is 4 characters. Now if I define it as char, what will happen is in the backend it will still store 30 characters, but it will store spaces here like this. It will store spaces here, 4 characters of the name and 26 spaces. So it will actually store 30 characters in the backend. Okay, it will store 30 characters, 4 are the actual name and 26 are blank spaces. Whereas in varchar, if it's only 4 characters, it will store only 4 characters. It will not store 30 characters. It will dynamically allocate. Yeah, storage waste, correct. What Pawan is saying, storage waste. Character has a lot of waste of storage because it will always store 30 characters. It will sort of append spaces after that and will store in the backend. Whereas varchar will dynamically allocate. Now, if I say, I don't know, some other name, Karan, for example, right? These are 5 letters. Now it will store only 5 characters. Whereas if I give Karan here, it will store 5 characters of Karan. It will store 25 spaces, right? So it's a waste of storage character. So usually, just use varchar. Just use varchar. Usually, it's an industry standard. People mostly use varchar in the industry. Okay, cool. So this table has been created, right? This table has been created. Okay. So just wanted to show you, like, just get you familiar, right? Just to varchar stands for variable character. Variable character. Okay. Okay. Cool. I think hopefully you are feeling comfortable with the whole interface. I think once you practice more, you will feel even more comfortable, right? Cool. Let's move on. I think we have a lot of other things to cover as well. Okay, let's come to this table. Okay, so I've just created some table called customers here just to put some example data, right? So let me create this right now. It has 4 columns. In real life, data input is done by user or developer. In real life, no one actually manually inputs the data. In real life, data comes from pipelines, from data pipelines. So let's say someone logs into Amazon, right? Automatically, one row will get created in the backend for a login, right? Why don't we use char 4? 4 is a very small limit for any name, right? Of course, names will be higher than 4. You can't really use 4. 4 is a very small limit to give a name. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Customer ID, customer name, country, age. There are 4 columns here. Let me create a table. Okay. I have like 100 rows of data that I've already put here. I'll come to insert statement tomorrow. For now, I just want to create a table. I'll come to insert statement tomorrow. Otherwise, I think we won't be able to finish what we want to cover, right? Let's assume that you have a table here for now. I'll come to insert, update, delete tomorrow. Okay, cool. Okay. Now we have a customers table. We have a customers table here. Okay, we have a customers table here. Let me check the customers table. Anyone know how to view the table? This session is until 8 p.m. We have 20 more minutes. Varchar 2. I'm not sure, guys. Varchar 2 I've never really used. I've just used Varchar. I'm not sure what is Varchar 2. I'll check it and let you know tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. Viewing the table. Select star. Select star. Correct. Select star. Okay. How do we view the table? Select star from customers. Correct. Select star from customers. Select star from customers. Okay, let me run it. Cool. There are 4 columns here. There are 4 columns here. Customer ID, customer name, country, age. Right? Customer ID, customer name, country, age. Select star is used. Select star is used to view all columns of the table. The syntax is select star from customers. Star meaning all columns. I want all columns of the data. Select star from table name, right? You can put your table name. Yeah, all data, correct. All data. Select star from customers. Okay. Let's say, let's say, I don't want to view all the columns of the table. I just want to view 2 columns. Let's say I just want to see customer ID and customer name. Yeah, customer ID and customer name. What I'll do is select customer ID, customer ID, customer name from customers. You don't need to give this enter here. It's just so that my code looks better, right? I can also write from customers here. It does not really matter. It does not really matter. It's fine. You can just write it in one line. You can also write it in the next line. Both are correct. Now if I run this here, I got the customer ID and customer name. Okay, customer ID and customer name. Okay. Now let's say instead of customer name, I want to call my column CNAME, right? So what I'll do is, let's say I want to change the name of a column. I will say select customer ID, customer name as CNAME, customer name as CNAME. So the word as is used to rename a column temporarily. The word as is used to rename the column temporarily, and I will say from customers. Okay. Okay. So I got customer ID, and now note that the customer name column has been changed to CNAME. It has been named to changed to CNAME. Okay. Okay. Now let's say instead of the entire table, all rows of the table, I want to select only, let's say, 10 rows from this table. 10 rows from this table. So what I'll do is select star from customers, limit. There is a keyword called limit. Like limit, what it does is it will just restrict your data set. It will just restrict your data set to the number you give here. Number you give here. Select star from customers, limit 10 and semicolon here. So now I got only 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Only 10 rows, right? Yes, select star from customers, limit 10, only 10 rows. If I don't, let's say I remove this for now. If I remove this for now and rerun this, I will get the entire data. I will get the entire data 1 to 100. 1 to 100. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, guys, some of you might already know this, but again, many of you might not. So I need to cover everything from scratch, right? So you can do that. Okay. Uh, I want to get rows 5 to 10. Okay, so that it's a bit complicated, but you can do it. So the question is, someone has asked, this will give you limit 10, right? So these are 10 customers, your top 10 customers. Okay. If you want customers from 5 to 10, let's say you want from 5 to 10. Okay. What you will do is limit 4, comma 6. I'll explain what I did here. First, let's see if it works. Yeah. Got it? 5 to 10. 5 to 10. You can also use offset. Yeah, you can also use offset. You can also use limit, right? Now, what this limit did was the first number, right? The first number is 4. It means that leave 4 rows. 4 row छोड़ो. पहले का 4 row छोड़ो. Okay? First 4 rows leave. Then give me 6 rows. 4 row छोड़ने के बाद give me 6 rows. That is what it means. Leave the first 4 rows and then give me 6 rows. So it will give you row from 5 to 10. I just did this because someone asked. So that's what this means. It's very helpful to do like second highest, second lowest, third highest, fifth highest. All of that you can do with this limit. Okay. Cool. Okay. Does anyone know what sorting is? Sorting. What do you mean by the word sorting? Have you heard of the word sorting? Ascending order. Yeah. Arranging. Basically arranging, right? Ascending, descending, whatever. Arranging the customers in some sort of an order, right? Ascending or descending. Correct. Okay. So the way we sort is using the word order by. Order by. Okay. We use the word order by. Ascending is low to high. Descending is high to low. Okay. Ascending is low to high. Descending is high to low. For example, let's say I want to sort on the basis of age, right? Customer age. We have a column called age here. Age, right? So let me sort this. Starting with the lowest age to the highest age, right? It has arranged your data from 18 to 68. This is ascending order, lowest to highest. It's starting with the lowest age, ending with the highest age, right? By default, if you don't specify anything, it is going to sort in ascending order, right? It is going to sort in ascending order. If I want to sort in descending order, which is highest to lowest, I need to write the word DESC. DESC means descending order. Descending order, highest to lowest. So now the highest age has come on top, whereas the lowest age has come on the bottom. It has basically reversed the order of your table. Okay. Okay. We have 10 minutes remaining. I'm going to do one more thing for 5 more minutes, and then we'll take questions. If you have any other questions, career questions or whatever, then we can take that, right? Okay. Now, let's say I don't want to get all my data. I want to get only a part of my data. Let's say I want to see all the customers whose age is more than 50. I want to get all the customers whose age is more than 50. So I'll say select star from customers where where is a word that is used, not group by. Group by will come to, I think, tomorrow, right? Where is something that we use to filter your data. Filter, what does filter mean, right? You have something and you're filtering something, which means you're taking only some part of it, right? So filter is something that you use to get only a part of your data. Yeah, condition, basically some condition. It has to satisfy some condition. If you have used Excel before, you have a filter, right? In Excel you have the drop down arrow, right? So that is what where does. So you will say where age greater than 50, let's say. Okay, age greater than 50. So you got all the ages greater than 50. Now what if I want to sort this? How will I sort this? I want age greater than 50 and I want to sort this. How will I do that? Yeah, 50 and sort. Now when I do age greater than 50, age greater than 50, I got everything, but it's not in order, right? Order by age, yeah, order by age, correct. So I'll say order by age. Order by age. So order by comes after where. Remember that, guys. Order by comes after where. You can't put order by before where. You have to follow the rules of the language, right? So order by comes after that. Okay, cool. Now let's say I want age higher than 50 but less than 60. How will I do that? Age higher than 50 but less than 60. Somewhere in between 50 and 60. Right? If I want to do that, there is a and condition. Yeah, correct. And condition. And condition. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll just copy paste this. Yeah, or we can use between. Both are correct. I'll show you both. We can use and or we can use between. I'll say where age greater than 50 and age less than 60. Okay. And age less than 60. What it means is I want all customers whose age should be higher than 50 and it has to be lower than 60, which means that it has to satisfy both the condition, first condition as well as the second condition, right? Both the conditions have to be true, correct? Both the conditions have to be true for you to get the results. Okay, didn't get it, explain again. Okay, I want all customers whose age is between 50 and 60, meaning I don't want customers whose age is less than 50, like 40, 30. I don't want those customers. I only want customers whose age is higher than 50 and their age also has to be less than 60. Let's say I want to pull a list of customers who are going to turn senior citizens in a few years. They're not really senior citizens, but they are going to turn in maybe 5, 10 years, whatever, right? So I'm going to say where age greater than 50 and age less than 60, which means that the age has to be between 50 and 60. Okay, so now I got all the ages between 50 and 60. So 51 to 58. Okay, you can also use between here. You can also use between where age between 50 and 60. This is also correct. You can use this. Same thing, 50 and 60. The only difference is that when you use between, right? When you use between, the numbers, these two numbers are also included. These two numbers are also included, meaning if age is 50 for some customers in your data, between 50 meaning including 50. So it is basically greater than or equal to 50. Between 50 and 60 means that it is either 50 or greater than 50 and it's either 60 and less than 60. So 50 and 60 are both inclusive. It includes, yeah, exactly, Dilip. It includes 50 and 60 both in your selection. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I think we have 5 more minutes. I think I'll stop the content bit of it. If you have any questions about the session or nahi, for age comparison, we use keyword. No, you can use where clause for anything. You can use where clause for anything. You can use for filtering dates, for characters. We'll do characters also tomorrow. We'll do like string filtering also. So that we'll do tomorrow. We can use basically where is used for any data type. There's no restriction. What is float and double? I think I said I answered this before. Float is for decimal. Float and double both are for decimal values. Let's say you want to store I don't know 78.5, 60.2, something like that. You have to use float or double. Okay. It was very helpful session. Okay, thank you. Can we use equal to less than? Yeah, not equal to less than equal to. You can do this. You can do this. Age greater than equal to 50 and age less than or equal to. This includes 50 and 60 both. This includes 50 and 60 both. Any roadmap for SQL? Okay, so I think I would start with, I think the roadmap, one of the roadmaps you can follow is what we are doing now. You can start with simple select queries, filtering, like, between, and, or. Then you can move on to advanced topics like joins, window functions, subqueries, all of that. So this is the order in which you should go. ER diagram. ER diagram is an entity relationship diagram when you have a very lot of tables and you have to visualize the relationships between the tables. You kind of create an entity relationship diagram where you get an idea of which column of which table is related to which column of other table. All the queries, yes, I'll make it available. All the queries, I'll send the team, so you'll have all these queries available. Okay. Example of professional database management system. I mean, anywhere around you, right? Like libraries or any backend of any website. Like for example, you fill a form. Let's say you fill a form on a website. All your details get stored in a SQL database behind the scenes, and then someone analyzes all of your data. So that's an example. Yeah. How will you shape your career path for a business analyst, and what all skill set to crack the first job with good package? Okay, I think as we are progressing, the one of the things that's happening is companies are looking for many skills in one person, even from freshers, unfortunately. So I would say even for a business analyst, some technical skills are required. In the future, everyone will need to know some technical skills and business skills. Like only technical skills will not be enough, and only business knowledge also will not be enough. It will be a combination of both of them to make a good career. Is SQL necessary for cloud? I mean, yeah. If you are going into data engineering roles, then you will require SQL as one of the skills. You'll also require other skills like Python. There's like bunch of other tools, right? Like Azure and like other cloud solutions. Yeah. Which data type makes round off of a number? There's a round function. If you use round off 7.6, it'll give you 8. I'm only answering questions that I can, because some of these questions are like completely unrelated to SQL. So, if char 10 is declared, only 4 char is used, then what happens to remaining 6? Remaining 6 characters are stored as spaces. That is what happens. In which platform can we practice SQL? I think there are like bunch of online platforms, compilers. Just Google like SQL compilers, and there are like you get like 5 or 10 different options. Will you show how it works in backend? I don't know what that question means. Sorry, what do you mean? Like, what do you want to see backend? SQL injection. I mean, I'll show you how to import data and insert data, like batch, like insert data at once, like 100 rows at once. That I can show you. Yeah. MySQL and MySQL workbench. I mean, it's the same thing. Workbench is just a good visual tool. It's a good visual tool for you. MySQL workbench makes this interface much easier, right? Like you don't have to write it in some black box that you don't understand. So MySQL workbench is just a good interface to do all your queries. Subqueries, yeah, subqueries we're going to do on day three. Day three, not right now. Subqueries will be day three. Tomorrow, I think it's. Let me just check the syllabus for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do joins. Yeah, insert, update, delete, and joins. MySQL and SQL guys, I already explained. I think this is the third or fourth time you guys are asking. Already explained what is the difference. For full stack, should we learn SQL or MongoDB or both? I think SQL is more popular. I think you should definitely learn SQL. Then, if you have time, go for MongoDB. I would first suggest learn SQL. Can we get a decent job only by learning SQL? I would say, I mean, only SQL probably is not enough. I would say you need to combine SQL either with some business skills, like domain knowledge, right? Or you need to combine it with some visualization tool like Power BI or Tableau or something like that. So, in combination, it's a good skill set to have. Roadmap to be a data analyst and its career in India. Okay, so roadmap is going to be first need to start with Excel, then learn either Power BI or Tableau. One of them is enough. Then learn SQL. So these three are non-negotiable. You have to learn these three for a data analytics career. And maybe Python is a good to have. Python is a good to have for data analyst, not a must have, but I think many companies are now asking of Python even for data analysts. So Python will become an important skill to have later on. How many months would it take to master Python? Yeah, it really depends on how how you are, how disciplined you are, and how comfortable you get. I mean, it's different for different people. I would say at least 3 to 6 months. Cool. I think we are on time. Tomorrow the sessions will be held on Zoom. I think the team has sent the session links. So yeah, I think so. I mean, see, I've taken sample data because if I take real data in this, like a lot of people are beginners, like absolute beginners. So if I take a lot of data, people get confused. So I've taken only sample data. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope it was helpful. Tomorrow we'll do something more advanced. Like this was very simple queries. Tomorrow we'll do joins and some more examples, right? So make sure you know all of these basics. Yeah. Apart from that, okay. See you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I really enjoyed teaching you. Very good questions asked, and looking forward to your participation tomorrow as well. Thank you so much. Yeah.